Hi, so welcome to TWR Facebook Live once again. And as you all know, I'm traveling to India, just arrived yesterday. And on my way to Mary Monastery, visit His Holiness Tenzin Wangyal Rinpoche. And so I know that in the monastery the internet connections are not good. So I've talked to quite a few of them, monks there. So I'm on my way up 7-8 hours of highway traffic, a lot of chaos on the road, but just before I get to the mountain, I stop here in a tea shop, and a very nice gentleman let me come in and use his nicely comfortable air-conditioned little room here. So I'm able to use it. Now it looks like the internet connection is doing well. So good to see you all. I just wanted to let you all know for next couple of months, as I'm traveling a lot, it seems like really difficult to have a fixed time and date to do these Facebook live, and particularly to schedule something is difficult. So this will be very spontaneous, quite regularly, but I will try to maybe announce 1 or 2 days before I do it. And so I would like all of you to just keep tune in informations on my Facebook. So I will make be available there, so information is available there, so people know when I'm going to do the Facebook Live. So anyway, today's it's one of the pith instructions. Today's topic we will talk a little bit about finding your spiritual path, which is kind of very general discussion, and so I thought about it a little bit and to see what we could discuss about it. And I think obviously this is a very general question for everybody, and there is so many world religion, different spiritual tradition, different wisdom tradition, different cultures, and of course there is like a huge place out there, but basically finding something what is right for you is a big question for everybody. So I think I will maybe say a few words in very general, and then maybe a few words a little bit more specific according to Tibetan tradition. So first of all, I thought maybe, because since I've been like teaching for 25 years in the West, I've met many people, some people who are very dedicated, focus on one tradition, and other people who are more open, more inclusive, and doing few traditions, and some people are almost doing every year new religion, new tradition, and getting totally confused also. So somehow I think it's a really good question about, for each individual, that what your needs is, what you're seeking for in order to continuously explore, grow, and develop your being. So I think it's a very general question. So one thing I thought about it is really like finding a home in a spiritual tradition which really talks to your heart intellectually, which is really making sense to you. So both heart and the brain, I think if both is making good sense to you, then I think probably it's good to explore and try. And one time somebody asked my teacher a question saying how would I find a right teacher, and so it was his answer was very good answer, obviously. And his answer was that, first you listen to your heart. If your heart feels the connection to the person, you can trust the person, and also not only heart and emotions, but also intellectually, you analyze the person, the background, history, everything, whatever you can learn, and then come to a conclusion if it feels right for you, that you can trust and you can learn from. Then if you can say, if you feel enough, comfortable enough to say somebody's your teacher, then commit to that. And thereon, it's your responsibility to also work, also on trying to figure out and trying to go develop a relationship deeper, not get confused by many different things. For example, sometimes people always wanted to engage with a famous teacher or something like that, or sometimes if anybody says something bad about that teacher, and then immediately you get confused and you lose the connection, and so basically if the teachers did not fulfill your ego, then immediately you get hurt and you get disappointed, and then you kind of begin to lose the connection and criticize the teacher. But if it's obviously something, if ego is not fulfilled, then immediately it's become very vulnerable and easy to lose the connection. That should not be like that. So at some point, if you, after you make your heart connection, after you make your intellectually, you analyze and you feel the right, then that point you have a little bit more responsibility to not easily triggered by outer situations, circumstances, people's talking, and your own emotions and egos and your own, not getting into that. So basically taking some responsible for your decision. It's like a little bit like a genuine relationship with somebody. If it's a couple, that you not only just emotionally fall in love with somebody, but just also you're trying to make good sense intellectually. You're trying to see comparable. You with that person, you have same values, same needs, same expectations, whatever way you can analyze. And after you feel you feel heart is connection, then you can also think about that person is right for you. Then some point, then you have to make a work on it. You have to not always try to easy change your mind, dump somebody easily like that. One time I saw this beautiful couple on the Facebook, I guess somewhere, that very old couple, 70, 80 years old couple together living there, and somebody asked this question: how come you can be together this long and this beautifully? And then one of them answers the question saying, we fix our relationship, we don't change our relationship. So it's some sense of ability to take responsible and trying to figure out solution in conflict and anything like that, not immediately change things. So I think in some sense, if as a teacher, is the same. If it's a tradition that you're trying to practice with, spiritual path that you really feel connection with your heart and your head, both, and you have analyzed it, you feel very comfortable, then that point, if there's any challenges comes, I think it's important to trying to figure out how to overcome those challenges rather than change right away. So that, I think, maybe this is the discussion about after you find something, that's how you would trying to relate. At least I feel that's what I would trying to relate. But maybe the first question is, how do you find the right one? So I think that's kind of more complicated question. So I think in some sense, from my point of view, with spiritual path, which really faces the truth, not avoiding the truth, the spiritual path which does not produces more suffering, not a spiritual path which is really helps to minimize your suffering, human suffering, not maximize. I was just watching a film yesterday on the plane about the Christianity in Japan and how they suffered there because of the strong presence of Buddhism there. So it was I don't know how true all the story is, but But it made me think about, in the world today, how much sometimes religion or spirituality, which meant to minimize suffering in human life, but sometimes it seems like really like a question about, is it really minimizing the human suffering, or is it really some cases creating more suffering in human life because of the religion divisions and beliefs and all those things. So in some sense, I feel it's really important to, one of the basic qualities, the spiritual path that you follow, I wanted to make sure that the path itself is really moving toward the truth, not avoiding the truth. Path itself is really minimizing my suffering and minimizing the human suffering, and not creating more in me or in others. And if it's the case of it's really producing more in suffering, more in me, conflict more in me and others, then I will question those paths. Maybe sometimes it's not the path itself. Every spiritual tradition, every major religion, they have a truth there, but sometimes where it is presented, where it is culturally involved, where it is social engagement, where it's involvement in economy, power and so on, so political and so on. So it gets into a very complicated situation, and those cases, it's very much about really like a personal judgment. Do your best judgment to see if something is for you or not. So I don't know what else to say really, to speaking in a general sense, what to say about it than what I just did. But a little bit more specific in our tradition, in the Buddhist, in the sense of Tibetan Buddhism or Bön tradition, I think we would talk about, when the Buddha taught the teaching, Buddha always taught there is no one teaching. There are many teachings, and these many different form of teaching, many form of teaching for the single truth is taught differently because the listeners were at different stages. Some were more advanced and more developed, and some were less developed, and some are very immature, very basic, and so according to their mindset, the Buddha's teachings were taught. In the Bön tradition, we say the same thing. The 9 ways of Bön, because there was a need of 9, not because there's 9 different truths, but because there are 9 different listeners, 9 different stages of people who could not understand one way, so have to explain 9 different ways. So, but also sometimes we say 3 major paths, like in Tibetan we say pang jur cholsum, pang jur cholvi lamsum, a path of renunciation and path of transformation and path of liberation. So basically what he's saying is that it's the way you handle your ignorance, where you handle the conflict, where you handle your negative emotions, fears. There is not one way. There's a different ways, like where you would handle the poison. So a poison plant, ordinary person will avoid it, run away, because if you get close, if you touch, if you eat, you die. So that's why you have run away. You renounce the poison. You run away from the poison. That's obviously one approach. Or doctor, a medical doctor, herbologist, somebody who know the poison, it will dry it or boil it or mix with something else, but the same substance will be transformed as a medicine. That means is the approach of the doctor who know how to work with that herb, that poison, but definitely a doctor will not run away from it or avoid it, because doctor will get closer. Doctor will need that poison to make it more medicine. So clearly a path of transformation is one way in which things can be transformed and develop more. And the last one will be the approach of liberation, like a peacock. Peacock eats poison, so peacock will not hurt by the poison. Peacock, actually, all the colors and the feathers are supposed to be enhanced so much by the poison. So either you treat your poison, negative emotion or your inner poisons like a peacock, your ability to eat directly, or that means not avoid it, face it, accommodate whole process in the wisdom, or you are like a doctor, like a tantric practitioners who not able to eat it that as a raw, but able to work with it and transform. Or maybe you're not capable of like a doctor, you're like completely ordinary person, that means you're just trying to avoid it. So basically there's three different paths, a spiritual path in our tradition. I guess if you looked at, not necessarily talking about the sutra, tantra and the dzogchen, but if you think about the approach of path itself, renouncing or transforming or liberating, you can probably look in all the spiritual paths in the world. There different ones might have a different characteristic, some of them really avoiding everything, some of them working more transformation path, and some of them really like able to work directly, not running away, not changing it, but facing it as it is, as a truth. So that what it's saying is basically each characteristic of persons are different. So some people clearly are naturally, they are people who are, they love discipline, they love to be told what to do, they love to follow somebody, they love to stay in the structures and rules, they like to avoid conflicts, and they are not explorer and adventure person. So they are more like really like a path of renunciation, but others are more inventor, creator, transformer, always different. So basically, I guess it's a very much a different personality, looking at your own personality, that who you are and what approaches is best for you and what path is best for you. I guess the best person to judge that, it's really yourself, no one else. But exploring all what is out there and judging for yourself, and in the end of the day, I think it's very much being self-responsible. Either it's finding your spiritual path or finding your mentor, teacher, your life, your partner, your husband, wife. At some point, this whole idea of blaming somebody else for your suffering, I think partially there are people in the world who are not good, and they are definitely they can create more causes and pain in your life, but you also have a responsibility not to engage with those people. So basically, if you not looking at some sense of you like a fully blaming somebody else for your own suffering, I don't think that's fair also. So anyway, I think life is, I think, it's too precious to worry about things. Life is too precious to hate somebody, and I think life is too precious. So we should all do our best in our life, always trying to do your best and help others when somebody is in need, and whatever you find in your life as a spiritual path, make the best out of it. Go closer and deeper, and any conflict in your relation, in your spiritual path, with your sangha member, with your mentor, with the teacher, with the group, I think always whenever there is a conflict, it's always a question about going closer to fix it, not running away and thinking that it will fix by itself. Distancing is a more conflict, you create more space for conflict and doubts. If you go closer, communicate more, talk more, feel more connection with somebody, I think you have a greater chance to resolve any conflict. So Tsering is waiting, my wife is waiting outside drinking her tea, and the driver is outside in the car. So I It's already around 7 o'clock here. Still a couple of hours more drive to the monastery. I don't want to get too late. Flying whole night yesterday, so it was nice to see you. I see over 33 people without, no schedule. So it's wonderful to see you all. And so please tune in to Facebook, and I will inform you at least day before or something like that. And so whenever the next pith instruction will be, I will be there. Thank you so much. All my love, blessings. Take care. Bye.